welcome. You're watching the Newshour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Today, the Supreme Court validated the 2016 demonetization decision by the Modi government. A 5-judge constitution bench ruled 4-1 in favor of the move, saying that the central government's order to ban 1,500 rupee notes is valid and the decision-making process could not be faulted just because the centre had initiated the move. Coming as it does on the back of a number of other such setbacks from the top court on issues like the Rafale purchase and the Pegasus spyware, the BJP was quick to allege that there is a deliberate obfuscation and politicization of various decisions carried out by the centre by the Congress.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो फैसला किया है वो एक सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इसको सही माना
और जिस तरह से डिमोनेटाइजेशन को लेकर के कंफ्यूजन पैदा करने की, कंट्राडिक्शन पैदा करने की, गुमराह करने की कोशिश कांग्रेस पार्टी हो या अन्य पार्टियों ने की, वो एक बार फिर से एक्सपोज हुई.
But Congress and various other opposition parties who for long have attacked the centre for demonetization, calling it badly thought out, calling it a massive misery that was dumped on people because of a stroke of midnight decision that was taken by the government, came back and said that this is not a validation. It's merely the process that has been given the stamp of approval and not the ends that were achieved. In fact, some even said that correct information was not given by the centre to the court at all and another fresh hearing should take place. Others asked who will account for the pain and misery caused to people and the economic cost of demonetization because of loss of jobs and businesses.
We all have to respect the judgment. That is a different issue. But I personally feel that it is a monumental blunder, whatever our Prime Minister, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh has said. I fully stand by it. It has spoiled the economy. It has spoiled the strength of a common man.
पर लीगल प्रोसीजर के कॉम्प्लिकेशन जो हुए हैं उस पर तो कुछ सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अभी तक जितना मैंने देखा है, ये बात तो अपनी जगह कायम है कि इकोनॉमी खत्म हुई, उसके बाद कमजोर पड़ी. क्या क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिज्म रुका? जो वादे थे क्या कुछ रुका? जो हार्डशिप हुई थी जनता की वो कुछ कम हुई? उसके जो कॉम्प्लिकेशन हुए, उसका जो नुकसान देश को उठाना पड़ा, आम जनता को उठाना पड़ा, उस पर सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जस्टिफाई नहीं किया.
अब आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले को लेकर आप बाजा बजाइए, मगर ये सच्चाई है नहीं. हम जो मुद्दे आपके ये जो सामने रखे आपके, अजीम प्रेमजी यूनिवर्सिटी की रिपोर्ट बोल रही है कि 50 लाख लोगों की नौकरी चले गई, 100 लोग मर गए, 99.30% डीमोनेटाइज पैसा जो हुआ तो सिस्टम में वापस आ गया. अब ये क्या है बताओ आप.
The question though still remains, can this be called a vindication for demonetization, the entire process of demonetization? Did the process really achieve its objectives? And what does this say also about those who have challenged the government's every decision? Has it exposed them as compulsive contrarians?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
On the debate, Manoj Kaka, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, A. Saravanan, spokesperson of the DMK, Kamru Choudhury, leader of the Congress. But my first question is to you, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. You're asking for an apology from Rahul Gandhi, but the fact still remains that businesses were affected and jobs were lost. How can then you call this a vindication?
Padmaja, you asked a pointed question and no holds barred. My answer is this. I think apart from the various benefits of demonetization, I will not even get into the fact that it gave a huge boost to digital India. I mean, you are aware, Padmaja, just 1 month before demonetization, it happened on the 8th of November 2016. And in October 2016, the number of UPI trades were only 92,000 trades worth 48 crores. Today, we have 782 crore trades in December 2022 worth how much? 12.2 lakh crore, which is 6% of India's GDP. Kaha 92,000 trades, kaha 7.82 billion trades. Forget digital India. I think the most important aspect and facet of demonetization and I'm wearing my hat both as an economist and as a politician, but more as an economist, and an unbiased one at that. It was a disruptive innovation. It was unanticipated. The one dissenting comment from the one dissenting judge,
Justice Nagaratna.
4 out of 5. 4 out of 5, obviously, yes, you're right. 4 out of 5 said that they upheld the constitutional validity and actually, in more ways than one, legitimized the decision of 8 November 2016. I have this to say, that the biggest benefit of demonetization, apart from the fact that it instilled in people a fear of the law, people realized it makes sense not to have your money stashed under pillowcases and in old steel trunks, but to have it in the banking system. I think one of the biggest benefits is that it formalized the economy. I know economists across the spectrum said that prior to 2016, more than 52%, the figures actually vary, Padmaja, between 40 to 52% of India's economy was an informal one. Now, even if I don't have to be optimistic but conservative, apparently the informal economy has fallen from 52 or 40% to just less than 20% now. And what does that mean?
Okay.
If 20% additional economy, which was informal, is now within the formal bracket, and if you assume mathematically that the formal economy is taxed at an average rate of 15%, then it means that actually 3% has been added to India's GDP. And if you assume that the formal economy is on an average taxed at 4%, taxed at 20%, then the informal economy coming down from 52% or 40% to 20% means that the entire addition to tax revenues and non-tax revenues has been to the tune of 4% of GDP.
Okay.
To put it simplistically, demonetization has given a boost to digital India, has led to greater formalization of the economy. It has instilled a fear of the law.
Okay.
And the biggest benefit which no Congressee will talk of, Padmaja.
So while you talk about it as an innovative disruptor,
Padmaja,
here is the
10
thing.
seconds,
Hold
please.
on a second. While you have given this whole explanation of how it was an innovative disruptor and it has achieved some ends, the thing is, Kamru Choudhury, that the court itself said that whether or not it achieved its ends is not even relevant. Let's take a look at some of the objections that were raised right at the beginning. Now, on the 23rd of November 2016, Mr. Rahul Gandhi said what the Prime Minister has done is the biggest impromptu financial experiment in the world. He did not ask anyone. Nobody knew. This is not the decision of anyone but the Prime Minister. Today the court said no, that is not the case. This wasn't a midnight impromptu decision. Kamru Choudhury.
Yeah, Padmaja, I'm coming to that, but first let me just remind our dear BJP panelist out here, Sanjuji, that she had harped very much on the digital improvements that India has gone through, but she failed to mention the cash in circulation was 13 lakh crore prior to demonetization, which has reached up to 32 lakh crore as of now, the cash in circulation. The black money has doubled. 35,000 crore, I suppose, is still in the Swiss bank, which has increased over the last 8 to 9 years.
Can I please request both of you to stick to the issue, because what we are debating or discussing right now has already been called by the Supreme Court as irrelevant to the issue of demonetization itself. So let me again steer you back to what was said on the 23rd of November 2016. Let's address this one by one, sir. Otherwise, we will go into a long, rambling discussion which we've been having for the last 6 years. Point number one. On the 23rd of November, like I said, Mr. Gandhi said this was an impromptu midnight decision taken by the Prime Minister and Prime Minister alone. Today, the court says, sorry, that is not the case. Your response?
Court always educates on the basis of the data and the facts that the Government of India supplies. You ask for a RTI on what was the decision-taking process in the demonetization, but you cannot get a response from the government. The government has never made anything public on the decision-making process. Why did the dissenting judge then say the decision was taken within 24 hours? What were the facts?
I need to come in there.
So the dissenting judge is saying this, but here is the material which has been put on record, because in the judgment itself, it is noted on what basis has the court said this. Let me quote to you what the court has said.
I am going by
the court has said, hold on, sir. You will go by the dissenting judgment as always. When it suits you, you will go by the dissenting judgment. When it doesn't suit you, you will go by the majority judgment.
No, that's
except, sir, in the majority judgment, there is reason given for what they have, why they have said what they have said. Hold on a second, sir. Let me put out the facts. Now, here is what the judgment, majority judgment says. We have perused the minutes of 561st meeting of the Central Board of Directors of RBI held on 8th of November 2016. The said minutes would show that the communication dated 7th November 2016 was placed before the Central Board by Deputy Governor. There was an elaborate discussion on the said proposal. The Central Board has considered the pros and cons of the measure. The Central Board has also considered that the proposed step presents a big opportunity to take the process of financial inclusion further by incentivizing the use of electronic modes of payment. So here's the thing, as opposed to what was said, that suddenly on the 8th of November, the Prime Minister woke up at 8 p.m. and said, let's do something fun today. Let's demonetize. There was a series of meetings that took place. The note was put before the board, Kamru Choudhury. It was deliberated and it was passed. There was consultation. According to a note.
Well, whatever I said was the data and the facts that were put before the honorable court. The court will only decide on the basis of the facts.
So are you saying, okay, hold on a second. Are you saying that the government has cooked up this note?
It has misrepresented the court.
Misrepresented? Yes. Have the facts been misrepresented before the court, Sanju Verma?
BJP government.
Okay, Padmaja, please, Padmaja ji, I have been listening patiently.
Yes, have these facts been misrepresented, Sanju Verma? So we are talking about point number one, was there consultation or not? It is based on what you have presented. Sanju Verma, go on. Have you misrepresented?
Okay, Padmaja, let's be very clear. There is nothing called a minority judgment. There is only one judgment, there is only one verdict. There was a minority opinion by one dissenting judge, but there is only one verdict and a sweeping majority verdict of 4:1. And I am surprised you don't want to believe what the bench headed by Justice S.A. Nazir said, what Justice B.R. Gavai said, what Justice A.F. Bopanna said, what Justice V. Ramasubramanian said. You have conveniently decided to only look at what Justice B.V. Nagaratna said. Even B.V. Nagaratna, she said that the intentions of the government were beyond a pale of doubt, well-intentioned and noble, which cannot be questioned. Let me just say this to you, that under section 26 subsection 2 of the RBI Act, the Modi government was well within its right to undertake one of the biggest disruptive innovations in post-independent India. So to say that it was unconstitutional or illegitimate or illegal does not hold water.
Okay, well-intentioned. Even the dissenting judge says well-intentioned. Respond to that, Kamru Choudhury, then I'll open this up. Intentions haven't been doubted by anyone, Kamru Choudhury.
Yeah, basically, the Supreme Court has also given this option to go to a higher bench, to be appointed by the Chief Justice of India to get into those after effects of demonetization. That is another chapter. But today, the Supreme Court was in a very catch-22 situation. It could have decided against the demonetization also, but if it had decided against the demonetization, could the Supreme Court have reversed that Tughlaqi Farman of demonetization? It could not have. Could it have actually asked the people who are still having those currency notes to go in for a demonetization? It could not have.
Okay.
But Sanju Verma will conveniently quote the Supreme Court judgment The Supreme Court judgment was
Hold on a second. I'll give you a chance to respond, ma'am. Hold on a second.
The demonetization.
Mr. Choudhury, there is no catch-22 for the Supreme Court. It's a constitution bench. They are not in a catch-22. They could very well have said that while this process cannot be reversed, and which is exactly what, by the way, the centre had said earlier, that this would be like unscrambling a scrambled egg. So it is, there is no point in having this hearing. But yet the petitioners pressed ahead and said, nahi, aap suno ye baat. So the court could well have said that the entire process is vitiated. While we cannot roll it back, it is bad in law. However, they decided to go ahead and say there is nothing wrong with the process. Now, point number 1 has been addressed, that it was a considered decision. The second thing, which is about the test of proportionality, and you would know this, Mr. Saravanan, because you are a lawyer. What has the Supreme Court said? Demonetization notification satisfies test of proportionality, which means that the court has assessed that the note ban was the only option to tackle objectives like rooting out fake currency and black money and strengthening the formal economy. They said that the test of proportionality has been passed. Mr. Saravanan.
Yeah. Give me 50 days. Burn me alive if I'm wrong. And we are here, even after 6 years, wondering what an unmitigated disaster demonetization is. It shattered the economy.
But sir, are we going to talk about the judgment?
When they announced demonetization...
See, again, Mr. Saravanan, I request you, let's stick to the judgment.
See,
the test of proportionality.
Yeah,
what is test of proportionality?
I'm coming there. See,
do the ends justify the means? The Supreme Court said yes. The ends justify the means. The means are justified.
The Supreme Court could have said that. Yes, Padmaja, the Supreme Court could have said that. But were we able to achieve those objectives? The Supreme Court has never said those objectives have been achieved. That the wisdom of the note ban has been proved successful. We are still suffering. The economy took a deep dive after demonetization. We are yet to recover from that. The MSMEs, the informal sector are totally destroyed.
Sir,
because of this.
Again, you are doing it on a second, please. Again, we are going off on a tangent, sir. Let me again take you through some of the criticism. Mr. Saravanan
is a march of technology.
Okay, Mr. Saravanan, this actually was not the question that was asked. The criticism that was leveled at the government and the questions that were asked of the government were as follows. 1. Did you consult anyone or did the PM do it unilaterally? 2. Is this a ham-handed approach because you want to benefit a few of your friends close to you और उनका काला धन को सफेद करना है? The court has found that no. The approach was to bring back money into the formal economy and the means justify the ends. So the criticism was unfounded. Do you agree, Mr. Saravanan?
No, Padmaja, it never satisfied any of those conditions. If it had satisfied any of those conditions, even if demonetization was even 0.001% successful, the BJP would have given 100-page advertisements for the last 6 years.
Padmaja,
the very fact they are only talking about demonetization now shows that it is an utter failure.
Okay.
It is an utter failure. It is a surgical strike on the Indian economy by the Modi government.
Okay, Sanju Verma. It's a surgical strike by the Modi government.
Okay, now I will answer with facts, and I did not interrupt Saravanan.
Indian economy.
Let me please, Padmaja, this is not fair. You have to moderate the debate. I did not interject anybody. I want my
Go on,
time.
answer.
Thank you. I will answer with facts, and you can check these facts with the RBI's economic survey and the CSO. These are not facts given by Sanju Verma. What was the GDP growth in financial year 2016-17? In the year in which demonetization was announced, 8.2%. What was it in the next year, financial year 2017-18? 7.2%. What was it in financial year 2018-19? 6.1%. In fact, in the year in which demonetization was announced, at 8.2%, the GDP growth has been the highest ever in the last 8 years of the Modi government's dispensation. Point number 1. Point number 2. The RBI's economic survey says that counterfeit currency reduced by 57%. And terror funding incidents came down by 57%. Point number 3, informal economy, which was 52 or 40% of GDP earlier, came down to 20% or below of GDP, which is a huge achievement. Point number 4, Mr. Saravanan, listen very carefully. How much money came via the income disclosure scheme? 65,000 crore after demonetization was announced. How much came by way of indirect tax leakages which were plugged? 53,000 crore, and these numbers were given then by Arun Jaitley on the floor of the parliament. How much came by way of undisclosed income which had been laundered into foreign banks? 25,000 crore. Addition karna aata hai? 65,000 crore plus 53,000 crore plus 25,000 crore in a single year. We recovered 1.43 lakh crore. We recovered 1.43 lakh crore.
Okay, quick rebuttal. I want to get in Manoj Kaka then, please. Yes, quick rebuttal, Mr. Saravanan.
Yeah. See, in 2021, the amount that was lying in the Swiss bank was around 30,500 crores. Is this also one of the stated avowed objects of demonetization?
This man has no idea about economics. You talk about 8.2%.
So you don't have any idea of the economy, how it is going.
17.
See, we are talking, and my earlier spokesperson clearly stated how much money has come into the formal economy, how much cash, and the biggest way you are fighting black money is bringing 2,000 rupee notes. That is the most harebrained scheme anybody can think of. By replacing a 1,000 rupee note with a 2,000 rupee note to ensure that there is no black money.
Okay.
What a joke! And this can be attributed only to the brilliant economists.
Okay, we can shift goalposts and keep arguing till the cows come home. But again, to remind our viewers, what was the original criticism? Criticism number 1, which we have addressed, is that this was done unilaterally, shot down by the court. Criticism number 2, that the ends have not been achieved, that this was mala fide, it has been shot down by the court. And the third criticism, Manoj Kaka, which your party made, was that why have you bypassed the legislature? To which also the Supreme Court has said, merely because on 2 previous occasions centre has gone ahead with legislative route to demonetize does not mean that the same ought to be followed now. If centre wants to demonetize notes that it believes are circulated to promote terrorism, it can demonetize. So to say कि अरे आपने पार्लियामेंट का रास्ता क्यों नहीं लिया, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा इसकी जरूरत नहीं है, सेंटर के पास पूरा अधिकार है.
पद्मजा, जो बात हमारी पार्टी ने कहा और जहां हमारी पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी ने असहमति जताई, उसी बात से उस संविधान पीठ की महिला न्यायमूर्ति वीवी नागरत्ना ने सहमति जताई. उन्होंने भी यही बात कहा अपने निर्णय में कि सरकार को चाहिए था कि वो सदन में प्रस्ताव पास करके तब नोटबंदी करती. और उन्होंने साफ तौर पर, एक महिला न्यायमूर्ति ने कहा कि जो नोटबंदी थी वो गैर कानूनी थी, और जो लक्ष्य के लिए मोदी जी ने भाषण दिया था, क्या वो लक्ष्य हासिल किया? जब नोटबंदी के 99.3% जब पैसे वापस आ गए, तो आपसे और सभी से ये देश जानना चाह रहा है कि काला धन कहां गया.
पर सर, आप जस्टिस नागरत्ना की तो बात कर रहे हैं, पर यहाँ पर अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट अपने जजमेंट में बोल रहा है, एंड आई कोट, we are unable to accept the contention that the word any has to be given a restricted meaning taking into consideration the overall scheme, purpose and object of the RBI Act and also the context in which the power is to be exercised. We mean that the word any would mean all under subsection 2 of section 26. So, legislative intent could not have been to give a restricted meaning to the word any. बार-बार कोर्ट कह रहा है कि ये सरकार के पास पूरा अधिकार है, तो कहना कि पार्लियामेंट के रास्ते ना जाना गलत है या फिर गैर कानूनी है, ये बात सही नहीं है. मनोज काका जी, जजमेंट में ये लिखा है, आप माइनॉरिटी ओपिनियन बोल रहे हैं, जजमेंट अलग है.
हर लोकतांत्रिक देश में आप भी हम भी, अरे मैं भी जो बात कह रहा हूं, उस संविधान पीठ के एक महिला न्यायमूर्ति ने स्पष्ट कहा कि ये नोटबंदी गैर कानूनी थी, उसको सरकार को चाहिए था कि कानून बनाते सदन में. और हर देश में, हर लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्थाएं में कानून सदन में आप पढ़ लिख करके ज्यादा आई हो, बताओगी कि देश में बेरोजगारी का दर क्या है? देश बेरोजगारी के 45 सालों के सबसे ज्यादा चरम पर है। आप
हर लोकतांत्रिक देश में कानून सदन में बनता है, पर सरकार के पास पूरा अधिकार है कि वो इस तरीके का मूव लाए, और ये भी लोकतंत्र में हमारे हाईएस्ट कोर्ट की संविधान पीठ ने बोला है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बेंच ने बोला है। मनोज काका जी,
पद्मजा जी,
पद्मजा, मैं संविधान पीठ के ही एक महिला न्यायमूर्ति की बात
तो आप संविधान पीठ के जजमेंट को नहीं मानेंगे, आप एक महिला न्यायमूर्ति की बात मानेंगे।
सदन से आना चाहिए था, और जो उसके लक्ष्य थे वो सरकार ने नहीं प्राप्त किया है।
ओके, रिस्पॉन्स संजू वर्मा, देन कमल जमान चौधरी। यस, रिस्पॉन्स संजू वर्मा
कर रहे हैं। CMI के इस देश में लोगों
लेट हिम कंटिन्यू।
ओके, फिनिश।
सरकार बताए खुशियां कहां आई नोटबंदी से?
नो, आई विल नॉट इंटरजेक्ट, ही इज गोइंग ऑन रैम्बलिंग, लेट हिम फिनिश।
कि एक महिला बिचारी ने अपने बच्चे को जन्म दे दिया, लाइन में
खड़े होकर खजांची
गो ऑन
संजू वर्मा।
परवरिश की जिम्मेदारी समाजवादी पार्टी उठाती है, तो ये सरकार से इस देश
पद्मजा, दिस इज नॉट फेयर। यू नो, आई कैन नॉट इंटरजेक्ट।
30 सेकंड
वाला व्यापारी जानना चाहता
संजू वर्मा
कि नोटबंदी से फायदे क्या हुए, इस पर संजू वर्मा बताएं।
ठीक है, अभी आप ध्यान से सुनिए, आपने सवाल पूछा है तो जवाब सुनने का भी धैर्य दिखाइए। पहली बात, आप बार-बार न्यायमूर्ति दिस इज नॉट डन, यू कैन हैव हिम कंटिन्यू टू रैंट, आई विल नॉट इंटरजेक्ट हिम, लेट हिम कंटिन्यू टू स्पीक बिकॉज यू आर नॉट मॉडरेटिंग द डिबेट, यू आर नॉट गिविंग मी अ चांस टू
फिनिश योर पॉइंट संजू वर्मा।
What do you mean finish your point? He's going on heckling me. What do you mean finish your point? I need to have my time. Yes, so now मनोज काका जी जरा ध्यान से सुनिए। आपने न्यायमूर्ति बीवी नागरत्ना के बारे में बार-बार बोला, जस्टिस एस.ए. नजीर, न्यायमूर्ति बी.आर. गवाई, न्यायमूर्ति ए.एस. बोपन्ना, न्यायमूर्ति वी. रामसुब्रमण्यन, 5 लोगों में से 4 लोगों ने सरकार का नोटबंदी का फैसला जायज ठहराया, संवैधानिक ठहराया, कानूनी तौर पे लेजिटिमेट ठहराया। तो यहां बैठकर सुप्रीम कोर्ट को क्रिटिसाइज करके आप अपनी खुद की धज्जियां मत उड़ाइए। पहली बात तो वो। दूसरी बात, जब आप कहते हो इससे फायदा क्या हुआ छोटे व्यापारियों को, तो यदि आपको समझ में आता है, एक टर्म है कैश कन्वर्जन साइकिल, CCC। नोटबंदी के पहले स्मॉल बिजनेसेस दे सॉ देयर वर्किंग कैपिटल वाज लॉक्ड अप फॉर मोर देन 222 डेज ऑन एन एवरेज, व्हिच इज व्हाट द RBI's economic service says in 10 seconds. After demonetization, because Digital India got a huge boost, the net cash conversion cycle reduced to 37 days and it benefited small businesses the most. The time spent in converting inventories into actual cash reduced, and that benefited the small business because he or she did not see his or her working capital locked up for more than 200 days, which was the case prior to demonetization. So please don't sit here and give this rhetoric that demonetization se kuch nahi hua. And let me tell you one last advantage. Prior to demonetization, India's mutual fund industry was less than 7 lakh crore. Demonetization led to the financialization of household savings. Do you know what India's mutual fund industry today is? It is 41 lakh crore made up of 14 crore folios, which means 14 crore small retail investors. I'm not talking of the big daddies of stock markets. Financialization of household savings is the biggest advantage of demonetization. So don't give me a lecture here.
Okay, you are looking at these advantages. A lot of people are also talking about the pain that had to be endured by people at that time and the long-term pain that businesses are still enduring. However, in the short term at least, vindication from the Supreme Court for the decision of demonetization. Its effects, of course, the jury is still out on that. Thanks very much all gentlemen. Sanju Verma for joining me.